guys, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am so excited to be part of a really fun scrapbooking hop today, celebrating a dear friend of mine, and we are celebrating Moira today, and she is having a big old party because she hit 1,000 subscribers, so there's like giveaways and prizes and lots of us playing along, and it's going to be so fun. So I thought that it would be even more fun to create layouts today inspired by Moira's layouts. And so you can see the one off on the side there, and I showed it in the beginning that I chose to scrap lift. And I also want to tell you that I'm going to be over on my Redefine Creative Facebook page today, and I'm going to be scrap lifting another one of her layouts over there. So I'll put a link down below, but make sure that you are following along and hanging out with me on Facebook, because I do live videos over there every single week that do not show up here on YouTube. So you got to be over there too. So this particular layout, and the reason I have it sideways is because I wanted to use her design, but I wanted to flip it sideways. So I really liked this design because it's a grid, and you know I love a good grid. And it has all these boxes, but then the last column is different. And I have never done a grid like that. And so that was super inspiring to me. But I wanted my area that has the smaller boxes to be on the left. And I'm not really sure why I had it in my head that that's where the smaller boxes needed to go. But it was just there. So I built the background of my layout very similar to how Moira built hers. So I've got a diagonal stripe pattern paper in the background, and that's from Close to My Heart. And then I've got some black cardstock and white cardstock. And then I'm adding all of these 3x3 squares. And just like in her layout, I've used those big squares on like the middle and the right-hand side. And then I'm adding a bunch of smaller rectangles in that last column. And that's where the column where I'm going to build like my title, and I'm going to have my photo overlapping, and that one is just going to look a little bit different. And for some reason, I don't know why, I've never really thought about creating a grid layout like that. And it left this little gap because of how big I made all my sections that was perfect to layer up this title. So I had taken this Close to My Heart card that says "Love This" and cut out all of the letters. And so I went ahead off screen and actually used a T-square ruler. You can all fall off your chair now because I don't use a ruler and I don't measure very often. But when I create a grid layout like this that has a lot of white space, I do tend to use a ruler. But something much more typical for me than using a ruler is I'm using the back of my hand to stick everything to. And that is something that you will see here all the time. So I went ahead and took dimensional adhesive and put it behind the love circles as well as the word "this." And then I'm also putting a bunch of foam adhesive behind my photo. And I did that before I started putting the layers behind my photo. So the photo itself is going to look popped up, but then all the pattern paper layers behind it are not. And I really love kind of that look of changing up where I put my foam adhesive in my pattern paper layers behind my photo, because it's always going to give you a different look. So then I'm going to go ahead and grab this Kelly Perky stamp set, and I'm combining it with my Midnight Catherine Pooler ink, as well as this like yellowish grid, and that came off of the Close to My Heart paper. So I'm kind of combining Close to My Heart papers and Ellie Studio Magical Memories. And that's basically what I'm using throughout the layout. So I went ahead and fussy cut that little stamped image. And so it's the Mickey like carousel. Carousel is the word. Excuse me guys, I'm so sorry. Allergies. I don't know what the deal is, but allergies are killing me these days. And so I tucked that in behind like the layer of my photo. And then I'm going to keep tucking things into all of my embellishment clusters. And I end up wanting all of my embellishments to kind of go on this diagonal from the top left to the bottom right. And that is similar to what Moira has, but a little bit different because she has her journaling up in that top box. And I'm not necessarily going to have a whole lot of journaling, but I am going to go a little bit embellishment crazy. So I pull out like the die cut pieces from Ellie's studio. I've got some epoxy flare from my friend Jenny at Scrap and Happy Studio. And these epoxy flare are like my favorite thing ever, especially when she does Disney, you guys. Disney epoxy flare, like what could be better? And so then I have a bunch of little wood veneers. So there's some like open stars, and then there's that little word that says magic and happiest place on earth. And I'm just making sure everything kind of stays on that diagonal. So I'm going to go ahead and get all those glued down. I made a little banner in the bottom, just keeping everything lined up that way so that all the embellishments are going to lead you right to my photo. And so this particular picture is, I was fortunate enough to take my 2 boys, so just me and my boys, and go to Disney World for a week. And let me just tell you, we had the most amazing trip. They were at like the perfect ages. We did all of the really cool extras, so like the pirates fireworks cruise and character dinners and all the fast passes, and we like did it up. They did this really cool kids only scavenger hunt. Like we had a Pirates of the Caribbean themed room. It was amazing. And so this is going to kind of be like one of the intro pages in that album. And this is the day that our magic bands showed up, and the boys started getting like really excited. Like that moment when you get your magic bands in the mail is when like it becomes real that you're actually going to Disney World. All right, so I'm adding a bunch of puffy stickers, and those came in that collection from Ellie's Studio. And then I just went ahead and added some bright blue enamel dots on that same diagonal line to kind of finish everything up. And that is basically going to do it for this layout. So I love how my layout is based on Moira's, but still turned out so different. And do make sure that you click down below, check out everybody else who is also celebrating Moira, and come visit me on Facebook when I show another video later. Bye, guys!